I've owned 4 Honda Civics. I've had 2 9th gens, one of them salvage, one of them clean title. I had the 10th gen SI, which is what got a lot of you here watching my videos. And then I also have my Type R. So today I'm gonna go over what my favorite Civic is so far out of all the ones that I've owned. And I think my answer might shock a lot of you. I have my friend Eddie. You guys remember Eddie has been in a few videos.
Hello.
Helping out today. I have the GoPro on the back of his Accord, so we'll be able to get a lot of really cool footage with that. So the first one I'm going to go over is the 9th gen. For the 10th gen SI, I'm going to have to use some old footage and I'll do some commentary. There are many things that are gonna go into this video, and these are all my opinions. You guys are all gonna like different things about your Civics, and everyone's gonna have different things that they look for in a car. But for me, right off the bat, I'll tell you, I value reliability and performance like for the money the most. My first 9th gen was a 2013 FB6. It was black. I loved it. That was my first stick shift car that I ever owned. And ever since I got rid of that, I had been dying to get back into another 9th gen. So here we are in my salvage title 2013 Honda Civic SI sedan. And you know what? I love this car too. The 9th gen is kind of the redheaded stepchild of the Honda Civic family. It doesn't have the full VTEC like the 8th gens, and it only revs at 7,000 RPM. So a lot of people like to hate on these, but all things considered, it's still a really good car. In a lot of ways, Honda made some very minor improvements over the 8th gen with this car, and in a lot of other ways, they kind of went backwards. Performance. The SI in stock form has never been a killer. Honda needs to keep this at a certain price point. They always undercut the price of the GTI and the Focus ST and WRX and other cars like that. But what you get for that money is a naturally aspirated K-Series engine that will take a beating. I have a catless downpipe, the full race catback exhaust, and the Acuity cold air intake with a tune from Josh Arandia at Yosh Tuned. This thing's putting down over 200 wheel horsepower and about 180 pound-feet of torque. And I love the way this drives. I mean, it's a torquey little car. It's not gonna blow the doors off a lot of cars, but it's fun. The visibility in here is amazing, and that's another thing that is important to me, is the visibility of your car. They have these cutouts right here in front of the side view mirrors, and it allows you to see almost everything. And the base of the side view mirrors is really, really small, so when you're turning, you can see exactly what you're turning into. Also, the visibility out the back is perfect. I have no complaints, especially with the backup camera. You get the best of both worlds. This is the last Civic from Honda that had small enough pillars to where you can see everything that you need to see. The looks. I love the looks of this car. A lot of people probably don't, just because it's a Civic. The only thing I don't like about the looks is the chrome that comes on the 2013 and up SI sedan. If I was keeping this car, I would like to make it look like this right here. And on the inside, I adore this 2-tier infotainment user information screen that we have. I absolutely love this. And the way this sounds, full bolt-on, listen to this. Not for everyone, but I like 4 cylinders. And the potential with this car is crazy. Yes, you do have to drop a lot of cash, which not a lot of people are willing to do on a turbo kit or supercharger. But once you do that, these things will beat a lot of cars that come from the factory with much more horsepower. All in all, the 9th gen is just a really simple car that's extremely reliable. There aren't a lot of electronics that go into it. It just has one simple button for traction control. You just press it, and in 1 second, traction's completely off. But is this one my favorite? Let's talk about the 10th gen SI. The 10 Gen SI. I had the two-door, it was a 2020, I bought it in November 2019, and that is what brought a lot of you here, like I said earlier. So I have a ton of respect for that car, and it exceeded my expectations, especially with the Stage 1 tune from TSP, and then I moved on to the Fearable tune. I loved the Fearable tune. That car with the 18-inch wheels, it was very comfortable, and it had something new that SIs didn't have in the past. It had sport mode, where it stiffened up the suspension and stiffened up the steering. It also pumped through some engine noises into the speakers, which I ended up unplugging the first few weeks I owned the car. I was actually the first person on YouTube to make a tutorial on unplugging that for the new Civics. I think with this car, I had some really good timing. I bought the 2020 right when the 2020s came out. I had a lot of fun with it, and I learned a lot about being a content creator and doing those simple bolt-on modifications that I had never done before. I had never modified a downpipe on my car. I had never even gotten a proper cold air intake on a vehicle before. So it was really fun to learn how to do all the stuff while trying to teach you guys at the same time, or at least share my experiences. But it responds to modifications very well, and it's much easier to make more power than the 9 Gen SI. I had a great time with it, made some great memories, but is it my favorite? Let's talk about the Type R. I think it goes without saying, this is the greatest Honda Civic ever made, like mass-produced Honda Civic. I want to get this out of the way. There's always going to be people saying if you boost an 8th or 9th gen, it's going to kick the out of a Type R, which, yeah, in a straight line, that's true. This car is a beast. This is just a different level. By far the nicest vehicle I've ever owned. But does that mean it's my favorite? Not necessarily. The first thing I love about this car is the power. I am a straight line guy, so why did I buy a Type R? Well, it just happened that way. I built my channel with my 10 Gen SI. People wanted to see the Type R, and you know what? It turned out to be a really good decision. I love it. The other thing that surprises the crap out of me is the handling. This thing hugs corners like a mother. As time goes on with me owning the car, I've had it for a month now, I'm starting to understand more and more why this car costs as much as it does. For 2021, the MSRP is about $38,000. The looks, very controversial. I love them. I played with a lot of weird looking Matchbox and Hot Wheels cars when I was a kid, so I like those crazy looking cars. Here are some of my plans for aftermarket visual parts for this car. I will be getting these Titan 7 TS5 wheels. I'm not sure which color yet. I'm gonna let you guys decide. I would also like to get this Veris body kit. I think those side skirts alone just look amazing. And yes, I'm nitpicking, but the visibility in here is even worse than the 10 Gen SI. Does that make me dislike the car anymore? No. I have it in R mode, just for fun. Let's give it a little rip. The 3 different driving modes of this car, also another plus. I mean, I don't think I need to say any more. So all things considered, my 10 Gen SI, I have a lot of respect for that car. That's what got me to where I am now, and I loved that car. It was great. Slap a Stage 1 tune on it, full bolt on, and that thing ripped. I think the 10 Gen coupes look really good. That's why I bought a coupe over a sedan, but it's not my favorite. Oh shit. And the 9 Gen, like I said, it's like the redheaded stepchild of the Civic family. Doesn't have a lot of respect. It's fun to drive, it's comfortable, the suspension's not very stiff. I mean, it's just, it's like your regular family sedan, but with a VTEC motor. But is that my favorite? I don't know. The Type R, that is your best Civic. That's your best production Civic ever made. It has a turbo and VTEC on the exhaust side. Handles like a son of a... But you know what? I'm playing with you. The 9 Gen's my favorite. It really is. And I can't really explain why. I love how simple it is. I love how the NA motor feels, especially now that I'm tuned and have some bolt-ons. It really is a pleasure to drive. You could beat on that car for 200,000 miles, and as long as you do the regular maintenance, get your valve adjustment done at 100,000 miles, that car is gonna be, it's gonna be fine. I just have a lot of respect for everything that the older Honda Civics have with them, with the NA motors. They still have a good aftermarket presence today, and they still have a good following today. There are content creators on YouTube with 8th gens, 9th gens, EM1s, EG hatches. Honda just really made some good cars back in the day. They make better cars now, but they're different. They're totally different. If you drove a 9th gen and then you hopped in a 10th gen SI, it's gonna feel like a completely different car. It's not even gonna feel like Honda makes both of those cars. All things considered, the 9th gen's my favorite. And yes, I am selling that so I can move on and try something else. Life is short. We don't have a lot of time left with combustion engines in the grand scheme of things. Maybe a good 10, 15, maybe 20 years. And we have even less time than that to modify these cars and tune them and all this type of stuff. But I will find my way back into a 9th gen at some point when my YouTube channel is doing a lot better and I can buy one no problem, supercharge it, do the whole body kit, all that good stuff. But for now, as much as I love it, you gotta let it go. What do you think about the Civics, man? Let me just get your opinion.
Dude, I love them, honestly. I've always been a fan of them, and then the 10th gens kind of changed my mind on like personally owning one, just because I wanted a turbo car. But I love it. And dude, your 9th gen sounds so good. It really does.
I'm surprised that you say the 9th gen sounds good because of that hiss. Could you hear the hiss?
No.
Like the downpipe hiss?
No, I couldn't at least. And maybe I don't know what I'm listening for.
Maybe it's just a lot more noticeable in the cabin.
Yeah, it's because even with my windows up and everything, like I could feel the vibrations from how deep it sounds. Like it sounds so good, especially when you're popping downshifts, dropping those stop signs.
That's the full race exhaust.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy.
Just because I'm curious, did you ever consider a Civic when you were looking?
Yeah, I did. But then I fell in love with the freaking room on these cars, man. They're just so comfortable.
Well, you're a taller guy, and you need more space. You need more leg room, so...
Well, I commute 65 miles a day, so that's why it's got 7,400 miles on it already.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You're not messing around.
3 months today.
You buy your cars to drive them, dude. Yeah. They're going to use an updated version of the K20C1 in the next Type R. You know, I'm sure it'll find...
The S2000 is going to be crazy. When that comes out that with
I'd love to see that happen, man.
It's supposedly coming out.
It sounds like it's too good to be true.
Dude, a rear-wheel drive, 300 horsepower S2000 from the factory.
Yeah, I would buy that up in a second. I bet that's going to be a $50,000 car, though. If it really does have the K20 turbo, whether it's the C4 or the C1, I think Honda is going to be shooting to compete with the Supra and the Ford or the Nissan Z.
Personally, I think they did it to kind of show Subaru up. I mean, that BRZ is going to be badass.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get the BRZ, man. I will do everything in my power to get the 2nd gen BRZ when it comes out. I'm gonna get the Cobra, hopefully accelerate the channel as much as I can, and then I'll do the best I can to have the cash to buy that 2nd gen BRZ so I can have it along with this. I think that'd be
badass.
A good lineup, yeah. So again, in case you guys forgot, this Saturday I am doing another group drive with everyone's invited. Everyone who watches my videos, you're all invited. In Auburn, California. If you guys are in the Rockland, Roseville, Lincoln area and you want to meet me at Twin Oaks Park at 9:15 a.m. and drive out to Auburn with me before we meet everybody, then I'll be here at 9:15. This is actually Twin Oaks Park right here. But Eddie is not going to make it. Unfortunately, he has to work. Thank you very much for helping me film.
Of course, man.
Really appreciate it. Oh, those look really good, man. Yeah, those are bright during the day.